predict something for me? Teensy little prophecy?
You bet I can. We're about to get into it right now. Hi everyone, and welcome back to TV Time with Chris. The channel devoted specifically to TV shows and limited series. Now hey, if you love TV shows and limited series, then make sure that you subscribe to this channel because you're going to get that content that you love and then some. Now today we're going to be doing some predictions for WandaVision. And we're also going to be talking about some stuff that happened in WandaVision episode 7. So if you haven't seen it yet, because I normally do my review on Thursday, or what would be tomorrow, just know that this video will have spoilers. So just need to get my drink here. What a crazy episode that this was, huh? You know, Vision off with Darcy, then breaking the fourth wall, Wanda going into the basement, Agnes saying she's Agatha, where are the twins? So much happened. And I got a lot to talk about. I'm just gonna, I don't even know where to start. My mind is all over the place. You know, I tried to make some notes because I did an Instagram live the other day where I was basically just talking about these predictions, and even though I had notes, my mind was still all over the place. So we're gonna try to keep this as organized as I can and try to keep it short, but can't guarantee anything. So let's just go ahead and talk about some of these predictions. Gee, I don't even know where to start. Okay, well, you know what? We're gonna start with who I think the big baddie really is. You know, this show started out with, you don't really know what's happening. And then as it goes on, you think that Wanda's the big baddie. And then we just found out that Agatha has been, or Agnes, has been messing with things in the Hex during this time period of the show. So now you think that she's the big baddie, but I think that she's being manipulated. I think that the big baddie who's pulling all the strings is Mephisto. I know a lot of people don't think that, but I have some thoughts, some things I've seen that I'm going to include that kind of guide me in that direction. Now, a lot of people, again, don't think that. I think it is. I mean, again, even when you had the Avengers, the first one, 2012, Loki's the bad guy. But you find out that Thanos is really the one behind it. He's the one pulling the strings. So who's to say that Mephisto isn't going to be the one pulling the strings? Now, Mephisto's character in Marvel is essentially Satan. So his domain is hell. And, you know, Satan or the devil. And in WandaVision episode 2, Don't Touch That Dial, you have that scene when she's at the pool party with, I can't remember the lady's name, Dottie, I think it was, Joy, something like that. And she says,
"The devil's in the details, Bev."
That's not the only place he is.
And so to have that where she's like, the devil's in the details, and Agatha says, that's not the only place he is, you know, it's like, Agatha knows that the devil is around, so to speak. If he's not just in the details, and that's not the only place he is, and who would be the devil? Mephisto. Also, you know, I read it earlier, well, in a previous video, and I'm just pulling it up here again. Sorry. You know, Wikipedia, when looking at different things for these predictions. I was spending a lot of time on Wikipedia, just learning a lot. And, it says, Mephisto later manipulates the sorcerer master Pandemonium into gathering the 5 scattered fragments of his soul that were lost in the ill-fated encounter with the aforementioned Franklin. That's Franklin Richards, Reed Richards, and Sue Storm's son. When Scarlet Witch attempts to use magic to conceive children with her husband, the android Vision, she unknowingly summons 2 of Pandemonium's soul fragments, which are born as her infant twins. So, essentially, her twins are part of Mephisto. And, there's the scene with the Halloween Spooktacular when Wanda, Pietro are taking the boys trick-or-treating, and the kids are about to run off and get candy, and Pietro yells to them, and he says, "Unleash hell, demon spawn!" Unleash hell, demon spawn. As in, these are the spawn of Satan, so to speak. I mean, what more do you need? Do you need more? Okay, we'll give you more. So, we also know that, sorry, I've got to jump ahead here. Sorry. I had my notes kind of here, but they were kind of all over the place. So, all right. Here we go. Mephisto claims that the remnants of Las Vegas were in his realm before it was restored. Hotel Inferno starts to have an effect on the people of Las Vegas. It also had an effect on the Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Falcon, Hawkeye, and Jane Foster's Thor form, which they all turned into Ghost Rider-like creatures. Now, these are all characters that we know. Black Panther, Captain Marvel, Falcon, Hawkeye, and Jane Foster's Thor is going to be introduced in Thor 4, which is Thor Love and Thunder, which is based off the What If comics. I believe it's number 10, where Jane Foster becomes Thor. And with Thor 4 coming out, if her character comes in contact with Mephisto, along with all these other characters that we already know, who's to say that he is not going to be the villain? And that's how they're going to help with the story of these other characters. This way, Marvel can kind of stick to the fan base that they have of all the people who have read the comics, as well as keeping people entertained that have never read the comics, don't know anything about these characters, but just love the Marvel movies or shows in this case. So I think Mephisto is the big baddie pulling the strings. I think Agnes or Agatha is actually under some kind of spell. I think she's under that spell from having that book that they focused on, the Darkhold book. And I'll talk about that one in a minute. But, Agatha's history is one where she's a witch. She's like an immortal witch. She helped train or teach Wanda how to control some of her powers. She's like a mentor to Wanda. And after Wanda loses her children, which I think is obviously going to happen or has already happened in the show, Agatha wipes that memory from Wanda's mind that she ever had kids, because Wanda is going to go mad. You have to think about the fact that Wanda has lost anyone she's ever really cared about. She lost her parents when she was 10. She lost her brother to Ultron. She had to kill Vision. And then he was brought back, and then she had to watch him die. She was brought into the Avengers basically under Captain America and Black Widow. Well, Black Widow is gone. And Captain America is old and retired. So she's lost them. Now she created this world where she brought back Vision. Her brother is there, even though he's being manipulated by Agnes. But she also has these kids. And when this all ends, she's going to lose Vision again and her kids. She would have lost everything. And her brother again, even though we don't really know if that's her brother. I'm not too sure. But, excuse me. She's going to go mad. And, if Agnes wipes that from her memory, why would she be helping Wanda? Why would she be a mentor to Wanda? Also, if you look further back in Agnes's history, sorry, again, pulling up my notes. Agatha Harkness later appears as a member of the Daughters of Liberty, where she taught magic to its members. At the time when Captain America figured out that Dryad is a revived Peggy Carter, Agatha teleported herself to inform him that the threats that the Daughters of Liberty have been facing are connected with Alexander Lukin's sister, Alexa. Agatha later briefed the Daughters of Liberty's latest recruit, Shuri, about the situation involving Selene having Sharon Carter's soul. She then proceeded to transport herself, Sharon's Iron Patriot appearance, and Shuri to where Selene is located. Now, Selene is a character that was actually introduced in X-Men Order of the Phoenix. So we don't know if she's going to be carried over from the Fox property into the MCU. But if so, that's a character that we've already known and seen. But we see that Agatha plays a part with Sharon Carter and Shuri. And again, they've said that Shuri is going to be taking on the mantle of Black Panther now that Chadwick has passed. So since T'Challa is gone, Shuri's going to take on the Black Panther mantle. And we know that Sharon Carter is going to be in Falcon and Winter Soldier. So if Agatha ends up helping them in the future and helping Wanda, she could have just let Wanda be insane and become a big baddie, but she wipes that from her memory to kind of ease that pain. Agatha's going to end up turning and being an ally somewhere down the line. So she's being manipulated. Again, I believe by Mephisto. But still so much to talk about. I'm trying to see if I covered it all. Yes, so Agatha's being controlled by the big baddie, Mephisto. Now, I believe that this whole show, WandaVision, is setting up the future of the MCU in its phases, similar to how Iron Man set up the whole future for what was going to come. In Iron Man, you have Iron Man. First of all, you had Captain America's shield in the background, kind of foreshadowing Captain America. And at the end, you had Nick Fury in the credit scenes talking about the Avenger Initiative. Then in the second one, Iron Man shows up, and Hulk, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man shows up to talk about creating this team of special people. So he makes an appearance, uncredited appearance, but he's in there. And then in Iron Man 2, you again have Captain America's shield. Natasha Romanoff shows up, and you get the ending, which talks about Thor's hammer. And in Thor, you get Hawkeye. That's the whole Avengers thing. Iron Man set it up. Iron Man got it going. That's what I think WandaVision is doing. I think that these are going to be characters and items that we're going to see in the future of the MCU. I believe that Agatha is going to play a part somewhere along the line where she is going to be important to maybe Falcon and Winter Soldier, somewhere in that show, and later on in the movies. So they're setting up her character here to bring her forward. I believe also that this whole hex that's created, that's changing everyone in there's cells on a molecular level. We've already seen it with Monica, how now she has special abilities. And she's gone through 3 times. And that's when her special abilities came. I believe this is where the mutants are going to be introduced. And not just the mutants, but people with abilities. They're already in the hex, so their cells have changed. Obviously, when this all ends, when it comes to a close, and the hex falls, that will be their second time going through. So they would have changed on some level. Whether the people that are in the town become mutants or people with special abilities, or their offspring do. Either way, this is where I believe we're going to get characters, again, like the mutants, the X-Men, maybe even the Fantastic Four or Ghost Rider, because Mephisto does play a part, and so does Agatha with these characters. And so does Agatha's son, who I believe is, I don't know, maybe she went through some kind of transfiguration and did that to her son, but her son's name is Nicholas Scratch. Agatha's bunny is Mr. Scratchy. So obviously her bunny is important. Her bunny could be her son, kind of manipulated into this form, or maybe Mephisto turned him into that, and that's why she's being forced to do whatever she's doing. I don't know. But I think her bunny is going to play a role. Agatha is going to be important in future shows and movies, so they're going to be in this. Now, I did say I was going to talk about the Darkhold book. Now, the Darkhold book does actually play a part in regards to Zemo. It says, during the Secret Empire storyline, Baron Helmut Zemo used the Darkhold on Blackout in order to enhance his powers enough to have dark force shadows cover all of Manhattan. So we already know from the Super Bowl trailer of Falcon Winter Soldier that Zemo's going to be the bad guy that they're facing in that show. So with the Darkhold book being introduced in WandaVision, I think that this book is going to play a part in Falcon and Winter Soldier, as well as it is tied in a way to Zemo, and he's the big baddie in Falcon Winter Soldier. But also, I'm going to read another quick clip here. When Kull slew Thulsa Doom, I guess that's pronounced, Doom's followers, the Darkholders used the Darkhold to create the first vampire. Now, I believe that this is important because Morbius is a vampire, or some form of a vampire. And we already know that Morbius is going to be coming out, I believe, later this year. And Morbius takes place in the Spider-Man, or the Spider-Verse, I should say. So if this book is used to create the first vampire, and we know that Morbius is a vampire, I believe that this book is going to play a part in the Morbius movie. That's why WandaVision had to come out before Morbius. But that in turn is going to tie into, again, the Spider-Man universe, and Spider-Man is part of the Sony MCU. So I think that we're going to see this book as well in future shows and movies, the same as Agatha being in future shows and movies for the MCU. Sorry, I thought I saw another part here. Oh, just another thing that I wanted to touch on. The Darkhold played a role in the 5th Marvel Zombies series, specifically the 3rd issue. In this issue, they travel to a universe which contains zombies dubbed Raimis, a reference to the Evil Dead films directed by Sam Raimi, who we know did Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire and is now going to be doing Doctor Strange, the multiverse. So it's Doctor Strange 2. I can't think of what it's called. But yes, so, I mean, if this book played a part even in that, maybe that's going to be some part of Doctor Strange 2. Maybe there's going to be zombies. I don't know. But, you know, just the fact that they put this in there, in the Marvel Universe, and now they have this same director directing Doctor Strange, and they say that WandaVision is supposed to tie directly to Doctor Strange. This book has got to play a part in that. So again, we're going to see this book in future movies, both MCU and Sony. We're going to see Agatha in future movies and shows. I believe Mephisto is the big baddie. He has absorbed Wanda's children, and he's going to be the one that's controlling everything. He's pulling the strings. I believe he's controlling Agnes right now. So yes, those are my thoughts. Also, Agnes's bunny is going to play a part. Now, another thing, when I did my live on Instagram, I had a few people in there and they were sharing their thoughts and opinions and predictions. And there's a YouTube channel, The Two Dreddies. If you haven't checked them out, you definitely need to. Their videos are very entertaining. Their videos are great. They're very knowledgeable in what they talk about. And they were part of my live, and they said that Agatha has a coven there in the Hex, so to speak. And I said, you know, that's really interesting. And it made me think about the scene at the pool party where, again, you know, they talk about the devil's in the details. And I went back and watched and I counted, and there were, not counting Geraldine or Monica and not counting Wanda, there's 7 people there. 7 being the strongest magical number, you know. Voldemort split his soul into 7 pieces because it's the strongest magical number. And in the comics, you know, Agatha sets up a new town in Colorado, a new Salem, so to speak. And they have the Salem 7, which are Agatha's grandchildren, fathered by her son, Scratch, Nicholas Scratch. So, you know what they say about bunnies and reproducing. So, I mean, maybe that 7 was her coven. Maybe they're the Salem 7. And they're brought in to this town to aid her, you know, because Wanda is extremely powerful. We know that Agatha is manipulating things, but I don't think she could really take over things. I think she's feeding on Wanda's strength. So her bringing in the coven would make sense to help her with everything that she's doing to kind of screw with Wanda. But that was an interesting thought that they brought up. The Two Dreddies. Again, make sure you check them out and follow them on YouTube. Subscribe to their channel. But I don't know. It's just it really made me think. And you know, we saw them then. We don't really see them again. So maybe they're in hiding somewhere, helping her do all this. I don't know. Again, just a prediction. But let's try to sum this all up. Agatha is a witch. She's been there since episode 1. She has a coven in the Hex, and her son is a rabbit. She's not the big baddie. She's being manipulated by Mephisto, who will reabsorb parts of his soul aka Wanda's children, driving Wanda mad. Agatha is going to aid Wanda by wiping that memory from her mind. Agatha's going to play a part in future movies and shows, and so is the book that we saw down there, the Darkhold book, have a future part in both Marvel shows and movies. And again, Mephisto, big baddie. How I think this is going to end, I think that Wanda and Agatha are not going to face off because, again, Agatha put Wanda under some kind of spell. I think Vision is going to show up. I think Monica and Pietro are going to have some kind of battling it out. Monica, who can't fully control her powers yet, Pietro might get the upper hand, bring her down into the cellar with Wanda and Agnes. Vision's going to show up. Vision's going to kind of stop Agnes, free Wanda from this. Wanda's going to realize the only way to stop everything is to close this hex. She's going to do that. That's going to give birth to the X-Men, future people with abilities, and Agnes is going to run off into hiding, so to speak, until she plays a part later on. And maybe she hasn't wiped Wanda's memories yet. I would like to see Wanda be a bad guy in the next Avengers team-up movie. After that, I would like to see someone along the lines of a Doctor Doom be the bad guy. And then finish it off similarly with Mephisto being the big baddie, but maybe taking a scene from Scream or a page from Scream and having two big baddies. Maybe the last confrontation that the Avengers have to face will be Mephisto and maybe Dormammu. I would like to see something like that. Those are my predictions. We're just about at 30 minutes, so I'm going to wrap this up. I'll probably do a more in-depth analysis of just episode 7 tomorrow. So make sure you stay tuned and check that out. Leave your thoughts about these predictions in the comment section below. As always, make sure you check out the Instagram, Movie Time with Chris. Check me out on Twitter, Movie Time with C1. Go to my blog, www.movietimewithchris.com. Follow me on Twitch, Movie Time with Chris. I do mobile gaming and I'm hoping to do some streaming soon. And make sure you like this video and subscribe to this channel. And if there's ever a topic you want to hear about or a show you want me to review, email me, movietimewithchris@gmail.com. And until next time, stay safe and take care.